Preliminary research, the weapon problem. Entry 001, a breakthrough, a discovery. All these years with this one thought in my mind of something that can revolutionize the world. With science, I've created something marvelous. I call it the Arc Serum. Even with the breakthrough, this is only the beginning, the infancy stage. And now I have to ask myself a number of questions, because in a lot of ways, I have been approaching this incorrectly. I have spent years asking the same question in different forms. How do I make a human stronger? It is the wrong question, because humans can already become stronger. Muscle can be reinforced, bone density can be increased, neural response can be accelerated, energy output can be amplified, and the Arc Serum has proven all of this. The problem is not strength, the problem is limitation. Every subject reaches one, some sooner than others. The body rejects what the serum attempts to make of it. Cells destabilize, and organs become incapable of supporting the increased metabolic demand. Neural pathways fail under heightened sensory processing. Mutations emerge without consistency, and sometimes the opposite occurs. Sometimes the serum works too well, and those cases trouble me more. Why does one subject exhibit nothing beyond the baseline response while another develops an entirely new biological capability? Increased strength, heightened energy production. These I understand. They are consistent, predictable. But what about things that aren't predictable? What are some of the possibilities? I need to define what I am actually trying to create. Not a soldier, per se. Soldiers become tired. Not a superhuman either. Power without control is merely another threat. Not an enhanced operative. Enhancement implies improvement upon a design. I need something beyond that. A weapon capable of defending mankind against threats mankind itself may be incapable of confronting. What would such a weapon require? Strength, obviously. Speed, durability, and regeneration, preferably. Heightened sensory processing, as well as adaptive combat intelligence. Resistance to environmental extremes would be smart. Resistance to disease, resistance to toxins, and efficient energy production. What else? The ability to survive prolonged combat, and the ability to become stronger after exposure to increasingly severe conditions. But even that is insufficient. A perfect weapon cannot merely possess power. It must possess the ability to continue developing power. That changes the problem considerably. I am not designing a finished weapon. I am designing something capable of improving itself. That may be the distinction I have been missing. With that being said, there are three possible approaches. First, continue improving the serum. That's the simplest approach, but also the least promising. Level 1 has already demonstrated that introducing the serum into an uncontrolled genetic environment produces uncontrolled outcomes. For example, mutations are possible, some compatible with the host. Others are volatile, radical, and will kill the host. Level 2 may increase stability and amplify whatever expression Level 1 establishes. Level 3 may push those expressions even further. Too many things are unknown to even think about a third level, because stronger does not mean better. If the foundation is unstable, amplification only magnifies the instability. A flawed mutation at Level 1 becomes a catastrophic mutation at Level 3. Discard this as the primary solution. The serum remains necessary, but the serum alone cannot be the answer. Second, modify the subject before administration. A number of things come to mind that need to happen. Perhaps gene therapy or some other selective alteration. Go deeper. Remove known incompatibilities. Strengthen cellular repair mechanisms. Improve receptor compatibility. Perhaps introduce genetic sequences associated with desirable traits before serum exposure. It's possible, but still inefficient. Every subject would require individual analysis. Every genome would present different complications, different weaknesses, different inherited defects, and different variables. The frustrating part? I would spend months preparing a single candidate only to discover another incompatibility I failed to anticipate. Too many variables, which leaves the third possibility. I have avoided writing it. Perhaps because once written, it becomes something more than an idea. Third, construct the subject. Not modify, but construct. Begin at the genetic level and select the traits. Remove the weaknesses and engineer compatibility with the Arc Serum before development begins. If the serum requires specific biological conditions to function properly, then those conditions should not be forced upon an existing human body. They should be built into the organism from inception. So the question becomes, what would a human look like if its genome were designed specifically to accept the Arc Serum? No. Again, that's the wrong question. What would a human look like if its genome were designed to evolve with it? That is closer to what I'm searching for. I need something more. I need a roadmap, not procedures yet. Questions. These questions must come first. First, what genetic architecture produces the most stable baseline serum response? A marker of some kind, evidence that the serum has successfully integrated. Perhaps it is more than that. If every stable subject expresses the same change, then there may be a shared biological pathway responsible for successful integration. Find that pathway, map it out, understand why it survives, and build from there. Second, can mutation be directed? This may be the greatest obstacle. Level 1 mutations might appear unpredictable, but perhaps they are not random. Perhaps I simply do not understand the variables determining expression, the genetics, the epigenetics, the hormonal state, the stress it will cause, the neural activity, even previous injury and environmental exposure. There must be a mechanism because biology does not roll dice. What appears random is usually a system with variables we have failed to measure. Find the variables, control the mutation. Third, can multiple desirable genetic traits coexist without destabilizing the organism? Gene splicing offers possibilities, but also dangers. One cannot simply collect favorable traits and assemble them like machinery. Genes interact. One enhancement may interfere with another. Accelerated regeneration could increase cancer risk. Increased muscle density could exceed skeletal tolerance. Heightened neural activity could overwhelm metabolic supply. Greater energy production could generate lethal heat. Everything must be balanced. The organism cannot merely be powerful. It must be internally harmonious. Every system supporting every other system. A closed biological architecture. Fourth, at what stage should serum integration occur? After maturation? During development? Or before? If introduced too late, the body may recognize the serum as an intrusion. If introduced early enough, perhaps the body would never know the difference. Perhaps it would develop believing the serum was part of itself. That possibility requires considerably more thought. 5. Can an engineered organism remain genetically stable while continuing to evolve? This appears contradictory. Stability requires resistance to change. Adaptability requires the capacity for change. I need both. A stable foundation with controlled instability. A genome capable of altering expression without destroying itself. That may be the central problem. Not strength, not mutation, but controlled evolution. Now, there is another question. One I have deliberately placed last. What makes it human? If I construct the genome, if I select its biological traits, if I determine how it develops, if I engineer its compatibility with the serum, if I decide which weaknesses it will never possess, have I created a human? Or manufactured something that merely resembles one? Does the distinction matter? Scientifically? No. Legally? Eventually. Morally? I find myself increasingly uninterested in that question. Morality is a luxury afforded to those protected by the sacrifices of others. If mankind faces an enemy capable of erasing cities, nations, perhaps civilization itself, no one will ask whether the weapon that saved them was created ethically. They will ask whether it worked. History has always forgiven necessity after survival. I suspect it will forgive me as well. And if it does not, mankind will still be alive to condemn me. That is sufficient. For now, I will call it the construct. Temporary designation. The word clone is inaccurate. There would be no original. Artificial human sounds absurdly simplistic. Subhuman implies inferiority. If successful, this organism would be anything but inferior. Perhaps something associated with the serum itself. Arc, an organism built around Arc integration. An Arc-compatible human. Arc-derived human. Arc-human. Yes, Arc-human. Let's think about this. Define what that means. I have it. Definition: a biologically human organism whose genetic architecture is deliberately constructed rather than naturally inherited, engineered from inception for complete compatibility with the Arc Serum, and capable of controlled adaptive evolution. That is the objective. Now I need to determine whether it is possible. The roadmap, provisionally. The foundation, establishing the minimum viable human genetic architecture. Then selection, identify traits worth preserving, enhancing, replacing, or eliminating. Next would be splicing, construct a composite genome without fatal incompatibilities. And then stabilization, prevent uncontrolled mutation and systemic rejection. Arc integration would be next. Design the organism so the serum is recognized not as a foreign agent, but as part of its biological identity. Then, the development stage. Determine whether the organism can grow normally while retaining engineered traits. Next, awakening. Observe the first stable expression of Arc-derived abilities. Then, escalation. Expose the organism sequentially to levels 1, 2, and 3. Finally, adaptation. Determine whether increasing serum levels strengthen existing abilities without destroying biological stability. After all of that, perfection. I dislike that word. It assumes there is an endpoint, but there may not be one. Perhaps the perfect weapon is not something that reaches perfection. Perhaps it is something that never stops becoming better. If so, I have been trying to manufacture the wrong thing all along. I do not need to create the strongest human alive. I need to create a human whose limits can move. Tomorrow, I begin with the genome. Before I can build the Arc-human, I must decide what parts of humanity are worth keeping.